Welcome back to Storytime with Kate Mazeris. Today's blog is for adults. It's one that I actually published in November of 2016, and recently, in light of what's been happening in our country, felt compelled to share it again. So feel free to share this video if it resonates with you. It's one that I put a lot of heart into back in 2016, and now here we are 8 years later, and I feel even more compelled to share it. It actually starts off with a little introduction that I wrote this morning. This week, I was reminded of a blog I originally published in November 2016 and felt compelled to post it once more in light of the ongoing rift in our country. Here we are 8 years later, and the stakes are even higher. Abject absurdity has been normalized, and America is at the most vital crossroads in its history. Who we are as individuals is evident in what we do over time, what we say, what we post, what we believe, who we vote for. Every single one of us is defined by our actions. I recently saw a speech by Raphael Warnock during his first term in Congress. He stated, "I believe that democracy is a political enactment of a spiritual idea, the sacred worth of all human beings, the notion that we all have within us a spark of the divine, to participate in the shaping of our own destiny." Now more than ever, we all have the choice to vote for what will continue this enactment of spirit or allow it to strip the people's ability to make choices that will shape our destiny as individuals, as communities, and as a country. Who We All Are, originally published November 11th, 2016. It starts off with an epigraph from the Civil War film called Glory. Yeah, it stinks bad, and we all covered up in it too. Ain't nobody clean. Be nice to get clean, though. Years ago, I heard an incredible story about an anthropologist who worked with children in an African tribe. He proposed a game in which he placed a basket of fruit near a tree and told the children that whoever got there first won the sweet reward. Then, when he told them to run, the children joined hands and ran together so they might reach the reward at the same time. While they sat in a circle enjoying the fruit, the anthropologist asked them, "Why did you run like that when one of you could have had all the fruit for yourself?" They replied, "Ubuntu. It means I am what I am because of who we are. How can one of us be happy when the other ones are sad?" When I teach yoga classes to children, we sit in a circle because the circle has no beginning and no end, no hierarchy, no pecking order. What our circle embodies is a sense of equality, a way for the children to see everyone's place in the group as valuable and necessary, that without one person, the sphere would not be complete. While every child is encouraged to speak, to voice an opinion, to contribute to the group from their own perspective and experience, I also encourage them to remember that we are stronger as a whole. On election night, like so many other Americans, I was unable to sleep, tossing and turning until 4 a.m. I thought about the year and a half I spent researching the Civil War and the Holocaust in preparation for writing The Lacemakers, grimly realizing that history is beginning to repeat itself in ways we won't fully recognize until the future unfolds. When I finally accepted the outcome of the election, I burst into tears, not because the candidate for whom I had voted was defeated, but because of the undeniable rift in our country's soul, the hatred and anger that motivated people on either side to make their choices, the endless lies, rhetoric, hypocrisy, fear-mongering, and, quote, "my way is the only way," quote, mentality of the president-elect that will continue to echo in our culture for years to come. However, my grief is not from fear. I'm deeply saddened in much the same way I felt on the morning of 9/11. For when the Twin Towers fell to the ground, I burst into tears for our country, for I knew then that our nation would never be the same. Now I'm concerned about the people I love who come from different cultures and backgrounds. My heart goes out to people in their extended circles who have been attacked, demeaned, and verbally abused because their skin is a different color or they worship differently. I'm concerned for my LGBTQ friends, for international relations, for our fragile environment, for a host of other things that connect us as human beings. It's not been easy to teach yoga this week, but I'm doing the best I can to be a calming presence for my students. I'm infinitely thankful for my meditation practice, which allows me to connect to the peace that eternally resides deep within, a place that we all have, no matter our politics, our religion, our color, or creed. At the end of class yesterday, I said to my students, "It's good to be with people of like heart." After they had left, a text message arrived from a dear friend who has differing political views. "I love you, Katie Bell," Angie wrote. Tears filled my eyes as I sent back heart emojis and wrote, "You too." For she and I know that love means we respect and embrace each other, even if we don't see eye to eye, that we don't have to agree to be kind, that we can be of like heart, even during times when we may not be of like mind. Even now, in the midst of this political crisis, I know more fully who I am. I know more fully I am who I am because of who we all are in relationship to each other. There have been many times in the past year when I've wanted to write commentary about the state of our political nation. I've wanted to put my 2 cents in on a host of issues that have been talked to death. Time and again, I made the decision to remain quiet, not because I didn't have anything to say, but because it wasn't necessary. Now, too much is at stake for me to keep silent. I know a host of men eerily like the president-elect and have witnessed firsthand the damage they have done. I have worked for people who echoed his bigotry and entitlement. I've been assaulted by one who got away with it because he was allowed to escape accountability for his actions. What I've discovered is that bullies often get their way, that money greases the palms of injustice, that political napalm is often heralded as a fresh start. But the story is not over yet, for more will always be revealed. As I grieve for the state of our nation, I'm deeply saddened by the generations of frustration, of anger and fear that has brought us to this time in history when all of us will have to make the choice between what is self-serving and what is honorable. I only pray that there are enough people who are brave enough to join hands and work together, knowing that the fruits of compassion and human kindness can heal even the deepest divide.